the Bitcoin blog spot. Today's news, we have some news what's going on as far as regulation is concerned in Bitcoin. So according to Yahoo Finance, and there is going to be some type of bill that's going to be in Congress that wants the Federal Reserve to end up approving charters for cryptocurrency exchanges. We had Jesse Powell, well, we didn't, but the actual Yahoo Finance had Jesse Powell on for an interview to talk a little bit about this bill, which he doesn't think it would have any legs. I don't think it would, as it would be counterproductive, as Bitcoin is the competitor of the Federal Reserve. So it would seem that they would want any way possible to shut it down. Now, is the Federal Reserve above the law? Well, I want you guys to listen to this real quick. This is Alan Greenspan. He was the Federal Reserve chairman years ago, but he made this statement right here, and it's only 47 seconds. So is the Federal Reserve above the law? Listen to what he says, and you can take his word for it.
What is the proper relationship? What should be the proper relationship between a chairman of the Fed and a president of the United States?
Well, first of all, the Federal Reserve is an independent agency, and that means basically that there is no other agency of government which can overrule actions that we take. So long as that is in place and there is no evidence that the administration or the Congress or anybody else is requesting that we do things other than what we think is the appropriate thing, then what the relationships are don't frankly matter. And
so he already says it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's the president. It doesn't matter if it's Biden, Trump. The Federal Reserve is above the law, pretty much. He said it clear as day. They're an independent agency, so that means that the CIA, IRS, Congress, the president do not overrule their decisions. They take monetary policy as what they see fit. And the thing is that the Federal Reserve is a private entity with select interests of big high bankers. So back to the interview right here. So we'll get into this and what they think with this bill is going to be passed. I don't think it's going to be passed. It would be counterproductive, but we'll see. So listen up real quick to hear what they're talking about, and CEO Jesse Powell from Kraken.
To obtain a banking charter and approval from the Federal Reserve. Let's bring in Jesse Powell. He is a co-founder and CEO of Kraken, joining us from Los Angeles today. Jesse, it's great to talk to you. It feels like every conversation we have about Bitcoin these days is about how more and more it's becoming institutional, with a lot more institutional investors coming in. We've heard about the PayPal Square effect as well. This latest bill coming through in Congress, and we should point out it's just a proposal. Is that a positive, do you think, for the space? Of course, it sounds like that the purists would say, well, no, regulation is not warranted here.
Right. I think that, this is another case of maybe regulators overstepping, and it looks like this bill doesn't have legs. So hopefully it won't be passed. But, ultimately what we want in crypto is financial inclusion. We want access. And this bill seems like it would be reducing access for consumers. And I think it's really unnecessary, overly broad, and I think we can get by without it. And there's not a need to sort of introduce additional barriers toward people participating in the crypto economy.
Yeah, and Jesse, let's talk about the enthusiasm that we've seen playing out here as Bitcoin was kind of flirting with those all-time highs here, approaching that $20,000 level. When you see accounts on your platform on Kraken, what kind of enthusiasm, what kind of new user is coming around this time, maybe relative to the last time we were trading around these levels?
Last time the rally was heavily retail driven. This time we're seeing a lot more institutional interest, and I think that's coming from just getting to be more acceptable because you have people sticking their neck out like Michael Saylor, Paul Tudor Jones, Square. You have large institutions, publicly traded companies buying tens or hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin. And I think the question this time around is more about, how can you justify to your portfolio, to your investors, not having a position in Bitcoin?
Okay, so we won't go any further, but the point of the matter is that it seems like there's a war going on outside, and you do have guys like Michael Saylor and PayPal and Square and a lot of institutions coming in, so that should make it make these senators and everybody else think that this would be a good thing. But let's not forget, the Federal Reserve is the enemy of Bitcoin. So this bill being passed would be detrimental. I think it would be a self-serving interest to the Federal Reserve. Now, we already know that the money printing is going to continue. And I know that a lot of people around the world in different countries see this as well. Eventually, our money and our dollars are going to be worth nothing. Next time you go to the store to get a little 25-cent Debbie cake, it's going to end up being $2. So that's proof that, the costs are going up and that the money that people are saving is getting down and down in value. So what do you guys think? Do you think that this will pass? We already know that we're in a regulation space because things are getting really heavy right now toward the end of 2020 with the price of Bitcoin skyrocketing and staying stable at this price so far. So if you guys give us a little comment in the down below, let us know what you think. Is this going to get passed? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think they're fighting a fight that's never going to end? We already know that Bitcoin's not going to get banned, but the regulations can make it so it's more and more difficult for regular individuals like me and yourself to attain Bitcoin without big high transaction fees and the such. So what do you guys think? Give me a like and subscribe. This is the Bitcoin Blog Spot. Jay Salt, I'm out.